Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next level tactics. From offsite and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition. Now, here's your host, Nate Need.
Thanks for joining us again on the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. I'm your host, Nate Need. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about legal marketing, legal online marketing, legal and law firm SEO, as well as law firm, legal attorney, and lawyer link building and SEO. So all of these topics kind of combine into one, and we'll talk a little bit first about the history and evolution of legal marketing, and then obviously that growth into online legal marketing, and then some best practices, high-level tips in legal marketing. We have been working with law firms now for over a decade. In fact, the majority of our practice for online marketing is with law firms and legal groups across the country. We've worked with some of the largest law firms to help boost their online presence in both paid and organic search. And so we've got a little bit of experience here, and our experiences led us to find strategies, opportunities among law firms and for law firms. And so it'd probably be good to, and most lawyers have an understanding of how law firm marketing came about. I mean, up until 1977, there was a ban on any form of marketing for legal firms, which made it difficult for lawyers to do to grow their practices. The Supreme Court's argument advocating for the lift of the ban of legal advertising in 1977, I should say, stated the following: the entry barrier argument is equally unpersuasive. In the absence of advertising, an attorney must rely on his contacts with the community to generate a flow of business. In view of the time necessary to develop such contacts, the ban in fact serves to perpetuate the market position of established attorneys. Consideration of entry barrier problems would urge that advertising be allowed so as to aid a new competitor in penetrating the market. And for anyone that's familiar with the legal profession, you know that argument does make sense. It's also led to a lot more ambulance chasing, and some might argue a lot more, not a lot of net gain to the world, but that's almost like a political argument that we don't want to get into here on the podcast. But since 1976 and the judgment in 1977, online marketing emerged much later, obviously, and so things like billboards, TV ads were kind of the prequels to the online marketing world. And since then, you've got the law niche is probably one of the not only the most competitive niches out there, but also one of the more expensive. So regardless of whether you're targeting potential legal clients in a given specific region, or targeting those clients in a broad way for things like accident attorney, mesothelioma lawyer, abuse attorney, things like that. There is a high level of competition for those terms, and as you might be aware, it also means that there's a lot of competition when it comes to link building and SEO for those terms as well. One of the big questions that folks, at least lawyers, might have is, does link building, SEO, does that even still work, or is it kind of mumbo jumbo? And of course the answer is, of course it still works. And we'll link to, in the show notes, some information on the correlation between building links and your rankings in Google search. And because some of the competitive terms in law are so expensive, I mean, we're talking above $100, sometimes even close to $200 per click. Now, when you consider that, that's not even a conversion to an actual lead, and then that's not even a conversion to an actual case. So it might take you 10 to 20 clicks before you're actually getting a lead. So your cost per lead in that case, might be upwards of a couple grand just to get a lead. And then you don't even know, one, whether or not you've got a case, and two, whether or not that case is going to close and have a really positive impact on your firm's revenue. So it's expensive, and by no means is SEO any less helpful, but it's also, as a result, it's difficult to rank for those terms, and so it makes SEO almost equally as expensive at the outset, but over the long haul, a much more cost-effective strategy. However, it's an investment into the future, because the time to rank is not short. It takes a while to rank. But when it comes to ranking for legal websites, there's a right way and there's a wrong way, just like any other website. And it's getting more and more difficult to rank for a lot of those kind of niche keywords. When you're using, when you're trying to use, and you're really working to use websites that are above board, white hat, and legitimate, you're not going to be, it's not natural to have someone rank or to have someone link to you using anchor text like Chicago, Illinois injury attorney. That's not a natural anchor text. And what more and more law firms are doing is presenting viable research that can get picked up, where the links would be more like, 60% of accidents occur in the home, things like that, where the keywords are much more natural, and they have much longer staying power, because it's first user research articles that are being linked to. So one thing that we highly advocate is investing in quality content, and that content could be white papers, case studies showing facts about maybe injuries that occur in the workplace. If you're an injury attorney, if you're an M&A attorney, it could be facts about recent M&A deals and closings that have taken place, any number of different practice areas that your practice might be involved in. And then, of course, doing general outreach to potential publishers to get recognition with, of course, links back to the particular direct on-site content that you're receiving. And in that case, you really want to become a resource for reference. And things like Help a Reporter Out, or HARO, H-A-R-O, and interviews, podcasting like we do here, connections with law schools where you can get links back from various schools. It can be helpful, not as much as it has been in the past. Events that you might put on where you might be able to get some links and promotions. Getting on Quora, answering questions for people who might be on Quora, and then, of course, working with someone like ourselves who can actually go out there and do the manual outreach and find the placements on publishers that really matter, that are relevant to your niche, which is difficult in the law profession. And one thing that's important to understand for lawyers is that when it comes to ranking for law firm websites, 60+% of your new clients and those that are out there searching are out on the web trying to find their lawyer, whether that's through direct Google searches or Avvo or FindLaw. It's not a single silver bullet, but it's a handful and a diversified approach where you're on Avvo, you're on FindLaw, you're on Quora, actively promoting, but at the same time, you have a link building team that's in your back pocket that's helping you gain that organic exposure on Google. In 2005, I think it was 7% of folks found a lawyer on Google. That number has now increased to 38%. So if you're not out there with the line in the water on Google, your competitors are, and your potential clients are finding them first. So I'll link to a number of resources on our website in the show notes here. We'd love to hear your feedback on legal and law firm SEO, link building, and online marketing. And feel free to reach out if you have questions. We'd love to hear your feedback on this and other podcast episodes that we're producing, and always looking for ways to improve. Until next time.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.